Ah yes, functional training, buzzword of the week that's kind of getting a little more play out there in our fitness culture. Very big in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was really big into it myself at the time. But making this video because ultimately, is it just a lot of mumbo jumbo BS, or is it actually something we really need to be paying attention to help you unlock the abilities that are most important to you? One of my biggest pet peeves is when people use the term functional to justify a dogmatic approach. They're like, this is functional, therefore you have to do it regardless of any other circumstances. Or they could say, well, that's not functional, therefore it's stupid, never do it, there's no justifiable good reason to do it whatsoever. But a fundamental perspective on fitness teaches us a very different worldview about training. Because first of all, well, there's no such thing as a non-functional exercise, because that's what all exercise is. Whenever you do something, the whole point of training is to basically tell your body, hey, you need to be capable of doing this action, the functional attributes of this activity, so adapt accordingly to be able to do this thing I'm asking you to do. I mean, I could just be doing this for an hour every day, and my body would adapt in who knows what way, so I could be able to do this every day. So fundamentally, everything is functional, but the real question is, functional for what application? And therein lies the rub, because something could theoretically be deemed unfunctional if it doesn't have very good functional carryover to the qualities that are important to you. See, every exercise you do is kind of like a recipe of functional qualities. Like as I'm doing my shifting lunges here, I'm working on ankle flexion and mobility. I'm working on hip flexion and extension at the same time for mobility. I've got strength in the quadriceps. I've got core control. I've got hip control. I've got a lot of things going on in order to functionally handle this demand I'm placing on my body. So that's great. But the question is, what are you trying to get out of it? Like if you came to me and you're like, I need more ankle mobility, yeah, this is great. However, if it's not an adequate challenge for that, so for example, I'm just shifting back and forth here and I want to make my quadriceps super, super strong, but it's not really challenging the strength of my quads all that much, then no, it wouldn't be adequate for that. So ultimately it boils down to, what are the functional qualities that are important for you being able to do what you want to do, and then finding ways to challenge those qualities. And also that's why a lot of times you'll find that the most quote-unquote functional activities out there are based on the most fundamental movement patterns: push, pull, squat, the things that aren't terribly specific just because they cover a lot of functional ground. And if you're looking at something that's specific for a sport, then the fundamental exercises or actions of that sport. So if you're a golfer, your swing. If you're in hockey, your slap shot. If you're in martial arts, jab, cross, front kick, that sort of thing is going to be your most functional style of training. And lastly, remember that you're never going to be able to cover all of your bases. It's impossible to do any type of exercise or training that's going to optimize the functional qualities for everything you're going to meet in life. You're always going to come up short somewhere. But that's perfectly fine, because if it doesn't matter to you, it really doesn't matter. Like, I'm a cyclist. I spend time on the bike. I'm functionally training to ride my mountain bike. But I can't swim for crap. Now, that'd be a problem if I was a triathlete, but I'm not. I don't need to swim. There's nothing about swimming that I really feel the need to do, so I'm fine being a terrible swimmer because functionally it doesn't have any value to me. So pick the functional qualities and attributes that are important to you and select the training exercises, methods, and modalities that align with your resources, preferences, and lifestyle, so that way you're getting everything you want out of it, and you don't need to be running around chasing every little fad or gadget or gizmo just because someone says it's functional. As always, thank you very much for watching. Thoughts and questions down below. More videos here. Be fit and live free.